Tonight, a landmark ruling.
Johnson & Johnson will finally be held accountable for thousands of deaths and addiction.
A U.S. court finds a drug maker responsible for fueling the opioid epidemic. What the decision means for other cases. The global push to save the Amazon.
Canada is stepping up to fight the fires.
World leaders offer cash and equipment, but will Brazil accept?
The Toronto students set to go platinum. How they wound up on Taylor Swift's new album. This is The National.
We begin with the fight for accountability in the opioid crisis, an epidemic that has claimed thousands of lives in Canada. Well, late today, an Oklahoma judge found drug maker Johnson & Johnson responsible for the state's opioid crisis and ordered the company to pay up $572 million. Kim Brunhuber now with the human cost.
I think that the Fiesta Bowl jersey is my favorite one.
Gail Box holds up her son Austin's football jersey, the one he wore in his last game as a University of Oklahoma linebacker. The last time she saw her son alive was the day he graduated, 5 days before he died.
Austin was living a nightmare. The nightmare of prescription drug abuse, prescription opioids to be exact.
Austin was one of the 6,000 or so Oklahomans who have died from opioid overdoses over the last 20 years.
Money can make people and businesses do bad things.
And in this closely watched court case, Oklahoma state prosecutors placed the blame squarely at the feet of a company they called the kingpin of the drug trade, growing the very poppies that became the source of the opioid crisis.
The company used pseudoscience and misleading information that downplayed the risks of opioids, leading to the worst man-made public nuisance our state and this country has ever seen.
And in a landmark ruling today, the judge agreed.
Specifically, defendants caused an opioid crisis that is evidenced by increased rates of addiction, overdose deaths, and neonatal abstinence syndrome in Oklahoma.
They provided medically necessary medication.
Throughout the trial, Johnson & Johnson denied responsibility, claiming that its drugs are rarely abused.
Johnson & Johnson did not cause the opioid abuse crisis here in Oklahoma or anywhere in this country. We have many strong grounds for appeal, and we intend to pursue those vigorously.
Earlier this year, 2 other drug manufacturers that produce opioids settled with Oklahoma for more than $350 million. This latest trial could become a litmus test for other plaintiffs. In October, a federal trial is scheduled in which almost 2,000 cases against the pharmaceutical industry have been rolled into one massive case. Some experts are already comparing it to the historic 1998 global settlement with tobacco companies. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, Los Angeles.
So in Canada, BC has led a class action lawsuit against drug companies. Today, that province's Attorney General told CBC News his office is pleased with the Oklahoma decision. This spring, Ontario said it would join BC's fight. Separately, a doctor filed a proposal for a class action in Ontario Superior Court seeking $1.1 billion from dozens of Canadian companies, including Johnson & Johnson. The G7 summit wrapped up today with the pledge by world leaders for tens of millions of dollars. That's money to help fight the fires raging through the Amazon rainforest.
We've had many people come to help Canada during our difficult years, and I'm very happy to be able to say that we will be there to support our friends in South America.
And so, from Canada, a pledge of $15 million and the use of Canadian water bombers. From the G7 countries as a group, $20 million and more from others. That cash is destined for several South American countries, including Brazil, where nearly 80,000 wildfires have been recorded this year. So on the surface, help from around the world seems like a good thing, but Ellen Morrow shows us there is one person in particular who is not welcoming it.
From above, destruction. A treasure of the world being decimated by fire.
This is not just a forest burning. This is almost a cemetery because all you can see is dead.
And the loss is becoming ever more stark. The Amazon is turning to ashes, this indigenous leader says. We can't continue like this. On the other side of the world, Emmanuel Macron called the Amazon irreplaceable, announcing the G7's monetary pledge. Much of the blame is being heaped on Brazil's far-right president, Jair Bolsonaro. Protesters say his anti-environmental rhetoric and lack of action on deforestation have fueled the fires. Today, Bolsonaro balked at the foreign aid, accusing G7 leaders of treating Brazil like a colony and asking, do you think someone helps without something in return? Even if welcomed, activists say the foreign money is not enough.
It's quite too late, honestly, to really tackle these fires. The scale of it are now very big, and it's going to be hard to extinguish them.
The aid will be used mainly for water bombers, while Brazil's firefighters take the lead on the ground. Beyond the flames, a bigger question.
We got to put these fires out, but longer term, what can we do so that this doesn't happen year after year after year?
A challenge for Brazil and the world. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
That $20 million pledge was a rare consensus to come out of the G7 summit after days of handshakes, photo ops, and carefully chosen words. Donald Trump added a layer of tension to this year's meeting, and as David Cochran explains, his influence on the next one could be so much bigger.
Thanks very much for being here for this session on climate and biodiversity.
The G7 has just months to advance a progressive agenda focused on issues such as climate change and gender equality.
We are short on time and we have a lot of things to do.
Short of time because at the end of this year, there's another handoff. The United States assumes leadership of the G7 and the priorities will change.
There was tremendous unity. There was great unity. Sometimes I'd read a little bit of false reporting.
I just wanted to say that we worked together, hand in hand, with President Trump.
Kind words, but Trump's imprint on this summit was sizable. The normally long and expansive unanimous end of summit communique reduced to a single-page summary. Leaders did agree to work towards the creation of an international tax for tech companies who find ways to avoid taxes. And in addition to taxing Amazon, they promised to help save the Amazon. But consensus on climate change was impossible. Trump notably skipped the climate and biodiversity session at this summit to hold one-on-one meetings with other leaders instead. And while leaders pressed him to dial down his trade war with China, Trump seemed less interested in settling than winning.
China wants to make a deal. Now, whether or not we make a deal, it's got to be a great deal for us.
Trade uncertainty causes economic anxiety, an issue Justin Trudeau says he raised at the summit.
Around the world, hardworking, middle-class people are already having a hard time making ends meet.
A topic for discussion here, an issue in the coming election at home. Trudeau used a global summit to remind Canadians he would help them out.
We in Canada believe that we should put the best balance sheet in the G7 to work for the middle class.
If Trudeau wins the election, he will attend next year's Trump-hosted summit, as the G7's problem child will become its president, likely bringing world leaders to Miami and the golf resort he owns there, all of it happening in the run-up to the U.S. presidential election. David Cochran, CBC News, Biarritz, France.
Of course, Canada's own election is less than 2 months away, and the campaign slogans are starting to roll out, a way to brand the parties and capture the voters' attention. Katie Simpson looks at the meaning behind all those messages.
Why do the rich keep on getting richer and the rest of us keep falling behind?
I have a plan to lower the cost of living, to make life more affordable.
Here come the direct appeals for your vote. Election ads are popping up everywhere, delivering simple slogans party leaders hope will sway the campaign in their favor.
I am for moving forward for everyone.
Choose Forward is the core Liberal re-election message, and it says a lot about the party's fear of a progressive vote split.
Liberals need to make the election a choice between them and the Conservatives, period. They need to reduce the comfort zone for people to vote NDP or Green.
Justin Trudeau argues he's the only one who can beat the Conservatives, and to give that message some urgency, he's trying to lump Andrew Scheer in with unpopular Tories.
We've got a choice to make. Keep moving forward and build on the progress we've made, or go back to the politics of the Harper years.
The Conservatives are playing into a different kind of anxiety, one felt by influential suburban voters who can't keep up with the cost of living.
Because it's time for you to get ahead.
Scheer's slogan makes the case it's Trudeau's friends that are getting ahead, including major corporations such as SNC-Lavalin.
It's not about grandiose promises. This is something very specific. You know, if you vote Conservative, you're going to get ahead.
The official NDP slogan is due out after Labor Day, but online ads paint leader Jagmeet Singh as a traditional champion of the working class.
Governments in Ottawa have been working for them, not us.
Political slogans often work best when they're short and simple.
Make America great again.
But finding a phrase that will stick comes with risk.
I don't think a slogan itself can make or break a campaign, but if you get the slogan wrong, it speaks about so many other faults in your campaign, because these things are the embodiment of a modern campaign.
The only way to get a slogan to stick is through repetition. Canadians will be bombarded by ads after Labor Day. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
Another story now about messaging and the impact it can have.
Adrian, there's growing concern about advertising e-cigarettes, especially when it comes to teens. A U.S. study has found that adolescents who see those ads, specifically ones in retail stores, are twice as likely to start vaping and possibly get hooked. As Cass Russi reports, some experts point out this all sounds disturbingly familiar.
We're talking state-of-the-art design in a pocket-sized fit.
The ads are pervasive and slick, so no surprise that vaping marketing of e-cigarettes in stores has helped make them the most popular tobacco products among teens and young adults.
There's so many ads
nowadays for vaping and
alternative stuff that I feel like it's a little bit unnecessary.
And kids are getting into it too easily, and they're seeing the ads and then it's attracting them.
These are companies that maintain they are not interested in recruiting youth. Having said that, so long as those ads remain in the stores, remain next to the candy and the Slurpee machine, I think it's difficult to take that claim seriously.
Today's study shows those ads are having a dramatic effect.
The fact that seeing promotional messages in stores increases the likelihood of future vaping, that's pretty much the exact same road that we went down for cigarettes and tobacco many years ago.
Tobacco ads are banned in Canada and the U.S., but the rules are a lot looser for e-cigarette advertising. Researchers in this study say the unregulated e-cigarette market has contributed to its growing popularity, especially among young adults. You are in the works. A development this researcher saw coming.
We did warn the government, and we said, if you allow advertising, then you're going to get a lot of uptake, and you're not looking for that.
Schwartz is currently involved with a similar research in Canada that shows that after 1 year, 40% of youth and young adults who weren't vaping picked up the habit.
I would say that this is urgent, given the numbers of young people who are starting to vape, and they're becoming addicted.
Health Canada says it intends to introduce new measures to curb the rise in vaping by young people, some of which include more ad restrictions and limits on the display of vaping products in stores. Cass Russi, CBC News, Toronto.
Here are some of the other stories we're following tonight. Amid widespread worry over ambulance response times in Nova Scotia, the province has ordered a review into the death of a man who suffered a stroke while waiting for an ambulance. David Benedict was in hospital when he died earlier this month. Doctors believe he suffered a stroke while waiting to be moved for testing. His ambulance transfer delayed by 3 hours. Ambulance operators say there was a high call volume that night.
We are prepared to take whatever measures are necessary to keep guns out of the hands of people who would commit crimes with them.
The federal government stepping in to help Ontario fight illegal guns and gangs. Ottawa has announced $54 million in funding over 3 years. The announcement follows another violent weekend in Toronto, highlighted by a gun battle in the city's north end where 30 shots were fired. There have been 285 shootings in Toronto this year, on pace to exceed last year's record of 428. And police in Mexico say they're investigating the death of a 62-year-old Quebec man in Cancun as a homicide. Daniel Lavoie once served as an honorary consul in Mexico. He retired in the resort city of Cancun. His body reportedly discovered by a friend who hadn't been able to reach him for some time. Mexican authorities say there were definite signs of violence, but they're not discussing a motive. Global Affairs Canada says it's offering consular support to his family. We have new insight into a Winnipeg police investigation that turned the tables on a mother and son who said they were victims of hate. They went from being objects of public sympathy to defendants in a criminal case. In this CBC News investigation, Caroline Bargout shows us the crucial evidence that casts doubt on their version of events.
This was the first time Oksana Barrett and her son Maxim had gone back into her restaurant since the night she said she'd been attacked and left unconscious on the floor. Her business trashed and spray painted with anti-Semitic graffiti.
I'm sorry, I was in it.
It's okay.
I was in it, Pamela.
Oksana claimed she had been alone in the restaurant when an intruder came in, grabbed her by the neck from behind, and caused her to faint. Public sympathy was swift. People made online donations. Days later, Winnipeg police accused the supposed victims of staging the hate crime.
I am hugely disappointed and frankly angry that this family has used hate and racism in such a disingenuous way.
In recently released search warrants, police say the Barrett story just didn't add up. Maxim had told investigators he and his father, Alexander, had gone to Home Depot the night his mother's business was vandalized. But court documents reveal that closed-circuit TV cameras on traffic lights photographed Alexander driving alone in the family's Cadillac. And only Alexander was spotted entering and leaving Home Depot, though Maxim said he'd been there too. This security expert says security cameras and your cell phone's electronic trail make alibis harder to fabricate.
To lie about where you are in public nowadays is getting increasingly difficult.
The search warrants say the restaurant had 2 cameras, but they weren't set up to record. However, the security system did log every time a door opened or closed, and each sound of breaking glass. And no one came or left during the time the Barretts say they were targeted. Investigators wrote they believe Maxim stayed at the restaurant and staged the robbery and hate crime with his mother. They also noted the family was in financial trouble and had been recently court-ordered to pay $230,000 in unpaid debts. Oksana's lawyer says his client maintains her innocence and is confident she'll be exonerated at trial.
The evidence the police are relying on is being disputed, and the technology isn't always reliable.
Maxim and Alexander's lawyers didn't want to comment. None of the allegations against the Barretts has been proven. They're due back in court October 3rd. Caroline Bargout, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Ahead tonight, the plan to relocate one of the biggest capital cities in the world.
First, though, Taylor Swift's surprise Canadian collaboration.
I can hear my voice in the song with an auto-tune, which is even better.
How these Toronto students ended up on her new hit album. Next. Taylor Swift has done it again. Her 7th studio album was released on Friday, and it's already breaking records. Within 24 hours, Lover became the top-selling album of the year in the U.S. and had the biggest debut in the history of Amazon Music. Swift's success is being celebrated by a Toronto music school. They sang backup and played instruments for the track It's Nice to Have a Friend, and they didn't do it for free. Shannon Martin now on how the collaboration came about.
1, 2, 3, 4.
literally just 2 chords. Just.
Yeah.
Compositions were supposed to be used by big artists, but I didn't really expect it to be like so quickly or someone like with such a big name.
And it doesn't get any bigger than Taylor Swift.
School bell rings, walk me home, sidewalk chalk, covered in snow.
The superstar's latest single now features the talent of the Regent Park School of Music.
I can hear my voice in the song with an auto-tune, which is even better.
This is the first time I've heard a steel pan in a pop song.
And it's you.
Yeah, and it's me on there, so I'm just like, wow.
It's crazy. That's crazy. She didn't really change it very much, so I was really happy about that.
Their haunting compilation of vocals and instruments was crafted months ago when Grammy Award-winning producer Frank Dukes invited students from Regent Park into his studio. Together, they've created a first-of-its-kind music library. Anytime one of their samples is downloaded, proceeds go directly back to their school, giving more than 1,000 kids across the city access to music programming who otherwise might have gone without. Swift is the first artist to lend her support.
I pulled up the sample and played it for her, and she loved it, loved the voices, and we just ended up writing to the music. I mean, she loved it before she knew the story, and then she loved it more once she heard the story.
And now our kids are superheroes, which is kind of what we want to do for the underserved neighborhoods that we work in, is to allow kids to have that voice to shine and thrive on this now global kind of level. Because we're ready, and our kids are that special. And boy, does that track shine on her new record.
And they're already dreaming about their next superstar collaboration. Shannon Martin, CBC News, Toronto.
Saturday Night Live reveals some of its fall lineup today, and Swift will be returning as a musical guest in October. Also returning, comedian Eddie Murphy.
A beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine?
Eddie Murphy was a series regular back in the early 80s and is credited with reviving the sketch comedy show. But aside from a brief appearance for the 40th anniversary special, he hasn't been back to host the program since he left 35 years ago. His return set to air December 21st.
When we come back, the big business of protecting American classrooms.
These are our ballistic-proof and tornado-proof storm shelters.
They're solid.
Protecting students or profiting from fear. Paul Hunter goes in depth next. The new school year is just around the corner, a time to send kids back to class with all the essential supplies. And in the U.S., for some, that now includes armor-plated protection.
I never thought this day would come when my child goes to school and it's like he's going to war.
Bulletproof backpacks and hoodies are flying off of store shelves. Parents shocked by recent mass shootings in Dayton and El Paso are forking out up to $500 US for any extra chance to keep their kids safe. According to one database that tracks school shootings, there have been almost 60 separate incidents of gunfire on U.S. school grounds this year alone, resulting in 10 deaths and dozens of injuries. Fed up with waiting for politicians to act, educators are taking safety into their own hands, spawning a multi-billion-dollar industry all of its own. So heading into summer, Paul Hunter gave us a close-up look at what's on offer.
On a rainy morning in the small town of Hilton, Oklahoma, just north of the Texas border, summer school.
Penny went around 8 times without stopping.
And a lesson that has nothing to do with reading or writing, but everything to do with that heavy-duty blue and white box sitting at the back of the class.
Code blue, code blue.
To be clear, it's just a drill. There's no emergency this time. Their school is in a county where tornadoes tend to strike. The shelter is to protect against that, but by design, it's also to protect against that other ever-growing worry in all American schools, mass shootings. School Superintendent Terry Shaw heard about the shelters from an old schoolmate. He gave us a video showing how he put it to the test. That's him stepping inside, along with the Utah man who designed it, while outside, they let her rip. It worked so well, Shaw bought 7 of them at $30,000 apiece. He loves them and gave us a look up close.
These are our ballistic-proof and tornado-proof storm shelters.
They're solid.
Yes.
There's room for more than 30 students, and they come complete with cameras on the outside, monitors on the inside, a ventilation system, and peace of mind for everyone.
Well, the feedback's been wonderful from parents. It's that sense of security, knowing that their kids are safe at school. If that inevitable event happens where a bad guy's on campus, we've already taken care of that. We've already put in the work to help protect as many kids as possible.
I am a teacher at Columbine High School. There is a student here with a gun.
Don't kid yourself. School shootings in the U.S. remain statistically rare.
Community Hook School, I think there's somebody shooting in here.
But the particular horror of young people under fire has left countless parents in this country eager for anything to ensure their kids' safety.
A lot of blood, please help.
With gun laws here deemed unlikely to change anytime soon, and with mental health issues a separate focus, American schools are fortifying themselves. The school security industry in this country is now worth some $3 billion a year. In Las Vegas, Nevada, a gathering this spring for some of the biggest players in the world of security. At the International Security Conference and Exposition, among the fastest growing sectors, schools. From facial recognition software aimed at identifying all school visitors to easy fit door stoppers, cheap and super strong, the show has it all.
Well, we call them smart safes.
Take a look at this, a biometrics protected gun safe. Teachers would need a pass card and their fingerprint to get into it for defense against a bad guy with a gun. How many biometric safes per school?
I would think, depending on the way that the school is situated, you would have maybe 3.
Like fire extinguishers?
Like a fire extinguisher, yes.
Or how about an easy way for students to unlock school doors? For that, credit this Canadian-developed software that can do it using your own cell phone.
We're trying to bring this idea of how do you use what you already have and retrofit it to increase the level of security.
Then there's this. Of course, that's not a real assault rifle, but in this demonstration, it quickly catches the eye of cameras with artificial intelligence.
See, it's picking up the weapon. The alerts are popping down there.
It's alerting like 911 or whatever?
Yes.
Where'd this idea come from?
I spent 10 years in the military as a Navy SEAL. My wife's a school teacher, and I got tired of turning on the news and seeing active shooter events almost every week. It's disgusting, and there's not a really good solution out there.
The goal? To stop school shootings before they can even begin.
All these things are in here are to mitigate threatening human behavior.
Guy Grace knows his stuff on this. He leads the group Partner Alliance for Safer Schools and is head of security for a school district in Colorado.
If nothing is done, we would have more school shootings, we would have more suicides, we would have more negative actions taking places on the campuses. So if we didn't do that, it would be tremendously a lot worse than where it is right now.
That talk gets put into action right here. It's the security control room in Grace's school district in Colorado, complete with a wall of monitors. It's the cutting edge in U.S. school security.
These are motion sensors.
Motion sensors.
Overseeing the 20 schools in this district, Grace's team has installed some 1,100 cameras throughout those schools. They can spot unusual activity automatically. His team can watch, listen in, send alerts, and with the flick of a switch, lock doors almost anywhere.
What we like about these things is if down the road, these cameras, if somebody's carrying a weapon or something like that, that can give you an alert before they even get into the school.
If by now you're thinking it all seems a little over the top, consider there was a shooting at this school in Grace's district in 2013, leaving 2 dead. And another at this one just last month, killing 1, injuring 8. And in the district right next door, Columbine, where 20 years ago, 13 students were shot and killed.
One of the shooters ran down the hallway and he actually pointed a gun, a sawed-off shotgun in my direction and was shooting.
On that day in '99, Lauren Reese was a student at Columbine. Then, just 15 years old, she was between classes and on the phone with her mom when the shooting began.
And I said, "Mommy, someone brought a gun to school." And all she said was, "Go, run." And she's like, "I love you, bye."
Now with 2 kids of her own, she underlines this country has little choice but to strengthen its schools.
And gun laws aren't changing, and regardless if there's a law in place or not, if someone wants to get a gun, they're going to get a gun, whether it's legally or not. In a sense, you know, this is the world we live in now, but we have to protect our kids.
Still, critics say a lot of the gadgetry is driven by the security industry itself, pushing fear to make a buck. But many others counter, in today's America, fact is, you gotta do something.
What about this?
And so, at another school in Guy Grace's district, where teachers' desks come equipped with hidden alarm buttons, a group of young students are on a safety refresher course.
Even if you know who they are, we don't let anybody in the building, okay?
A key part of everything, ensuring classrooms don't feel like prisons.
Next person that doesn't lock the door, go ahead.
Later, in a nearby hallway, simple drills promote muscle memory.
Push that door and lock it. Okay. Unlock it. Good job.
And for those times when a shooter threatens, rare as that might be, they emphasize
lockdown. Lockdown.
They learn to run and to hide wherever, however, behind anything, and quickly to stay alive. Remember, these are all elementary students.
But we're giving them something that, you know, it's maybe simple as heck or whatever, but it's giving them some confidence to make sure that they're not living in a fear.
That was not my plan.
Back in Oklahoma, where when they're not in use, those shelters double as quiet spaces for study, resignation mixes with resolve.
I hate the fact that our society is at that point, but that's where we're at. So when you're faced with a problem, I think it's our job as parents, administrators, and humans to deal with that problem. You don't want to be that school that wasn't prepared. I think we need to be that school that is moving forward in preparation to help protect our kids.
A sobering response to a challenge, say all, that now demands it. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Hilton, Oklahoma.
Up next on The National, you'll meet a couple hundred city workers in Edmonton.
I listen to the way you talk to the goats. It almost sounds like you're ushering toddlers around.
It is. It feels, I always say, like, it feels like I have 100 toddlers.
We'll revisit a unique fix to a perennial problem next.
But first, in case you missed it, after decades of pondering the move, it's now official. Indonesia's capital is moving. Jakarta is teeming with people and traffic and problems. It's a financial, political, and trade hub that's home to 10 million residents, 30 million if you count the greater metropolitan area. But it's also flood-prone, polluted, and sinking as the contaminated groundwater it sits on is pumped out for residents to use. So it's time, the president says, for the seat of government to just leave for more solid, safer ground on Borneo Island.
Risiko bencana minimal.
The place has minimum risk of natural disasters, he says. It's in the center of Indonesia and it's close to other developed cities. Borneo Island is known mostly for its rainforests and orangutans. It's across the Java Sea from Jakarta. The new capital doesn't yet have a name, but the fact that it's not on Java Island with Jakarta is no mistake. Most of the country's population and wealth lives on Java Island. The president says it's about time they spread that around.
Welcome back. We're following several other stories tonight, including developments out of Hong Kong, where it's now Tuesday morning. The city's embattled leader, Carrie Lam, addressing the public for the first time since Sunday's violent protests.
If violence continues, the only thing that we should do is to stamp out that violence through law enforcement actions.
Lam's comments come 2 days after anti-government demonstrations escalated. The city saw one of its most violent nights on Sunday as Hong Kong police fired water cannons and tear gas in clashes with the pro-democracy protesters.
How are you feeling today, sir? Really good.
Harvey Weinstein back in court today facing a new sexual assault charge. The former Hollywood producer entered a plea of not guilty. The new indictment will allow jurors to hear from The Sopranos actor Annabella Sciorra, who says Weinstein raped her in 1993. He's pleaded not guilty to 5 earlier charges, including rape and predatory sexual assault. And residents in Barbados work to shore up buildings and stock up on supplies as Tropical Storm Dorian bears down on the small Caribbean island. The storm gathering strength as it moves across the Atlantic, and it could turn into a hurricane in the coming days. It will affect several Caribbean islands, including Puerto Rico, where residents are still grappling with the devastation left by Hurricane Maria 2 years ago. If you have a garden, you know just how tough it can be to keep the weeds at bay, especially in the summertime. In Edmonton, city officials have swapped herbicide and mowers for a more natural approach, a herd of goats. The Bleat and Eat weed whackers are the key figures in a pilot project to control noxious plants in a local park. Late last fall, our Andrew Chang went to see them at work.
This is Jeanette Hall, and these
I think we should just make a bigger section and give us time to get set up first.
are Jeanette's electric fences.
They're used more for people to keep the crowds back.
She doesn't plan to turn the fences on, mind you, but she is going to war.
So this is for real. You've got a truck full of.
Almost 400 goats.
And how hungry are they right now?
They're super hungry. They're like really ready to get to work. Yeah.
They may not look the part, but think of these goats as an army, one that marches on its stomach. And in a place like this, that is a very useful thing.
That's everybody.
This is Rundle Park. It's a dump, literally, built on a garbage dump. That's why it's so hilly. But it's what's above ground that's become a problem. You see, the park's been invaded by yellow toadflax, Canadian thistle, common tansy, and don't even get Jeanette started on leafy spurge.
Once you crack that open, see that milky sap that just came out there?
Yeah.
So that is actually an irritant to skin.
These noxious weeds are everywhere, and they're choking out the natural plant life. They're toxic to most animals, too. The city's tried pulling them out by hand, but that's too labor-intensive, and using an herbicide that literally poisons the park. And besides, the weeds here have actually become resistant.
Though Rundle Park had a history of being sprayed with herbicide, our leafy spurge populations were still abundant and high.
So, bring in the city's goat coordinator.
That's an unusual job description.
Yes, I agree.
Joy Lacan oversees the program that's paying Jeanette's goat company close to $100,000 for 3 seasons of work over 3 years. It's a pilot project to see if goats are an effective way to control weeds long term.
So this is a good thing that you can only find one of these in this area.
So when we first arrived to this park was yellow because it was just covered in this flower.
But here's the thing about weeds. They don't tend to stay down for very long.
Doesn't it just grow back after the goats eat it?
Yeah, we want to actually see it come back with a vengeance. That means we've stressed it. So it's trying really hard to reproduce.
And the more it does that, the more starved out it gets.
Yeah, I'm starving the root. I'm depleting the root, the sugar stores in the root base.
Keep cutting them down before they have a chance to spread their seeds, and you can eventually beat them. But it's a long game because each weed has its own unique life cycle. They're all different.
I'm watching the group at the top. I don't want them touching those saplings that were newly planted. So I'll give them a command get back, lie down.
The goats are actually trained to prefer specific weeds. It's done right from birth, the same way you'd train any animal, really. Repetition and positive reinforcement. They're like dogs that way.
Hey, sweetie.
I listen to the way you talk to the goats. It almost sounds like you're ushering toddlers around.
It is. It feels, I always say, like, it feels like I have 100 toddlers. Good boy. That'll do.
Day one is a long day, but by the end of it, Canadian thistle is on the retreat, the goats are back in their pen, and leafy spurge is next on the hit list.
So we're on day 2 of us kind of visiting you and the operation. How was your night last night?
Our night was great. We're sleeping here in the snow with the goats, and -3 wasn't that bad. We're ready to get working.
This is a 24-hour-a-day job. Protecting the herd is a big reason why. Goats have all sorts of natural predators, but fortunately, Jeanette has a big team. Several goat herders, actually. They often work in pairs. This is Dan Vandenberg. He was helping earlier with the electric fencing. He and Jeanette will be on the move for about 6 hours straight today.
Hey Jeanette, is everything okay up there?
But early on, there's already a problem. The goats are getting separated. Dan's goats in front, moving too quickly.
They kind of follow each other like ants. Like they have to see their person in front of them. Come on!
There are just stragglers on the road. They're trying to get them all down there, but it's not easy.
Come by. They're all feeling my frustration with my husband today.
Oh, did I mention Jeanette and Dan are married?
10 goats on their own is one thing, but when it's one lonely goat on their own, they get upset and they're much harder to herd.
There is another benefit to the work being done here, one that doesn't actually involve weeds at all.
I would say about 20% of the calls I'm getting are people who are concerned about a fuel load around their buildings or businesses.
Fuel for fire.
The goats especially, you know, they can clear up to 6 feet. So when they go through and they eat all the dry, dead litter that's on the ground, the goats can come and help clear that away so that we don't have fire jumping from the ground to the crown, so up the trees.
By the end of the week, Jeanette's goats will have cleared out huge swaths of this park. And the whole way, Jeanette's work is being closely monitored by a nearby agricultural college. Everyone seems to agree they can already see a difference, but the city wants to know if the science backs that up. The program wraps next year. Only then will they know if these goats have these weeds on the run. But most people will never even know they were here. Andrew Chang, CBC News, Edmonton.
And the goat herd is due to return to the park next month for one last graze. As Andrew mentioned, researchers plan to release the results of their pilot project sometime next year.
Okay, up next on The National, The Moment. And tonight, it's a moment decades in the making.
Jimmy Cabs. Yes, sir. Where you to? What time would you like to be picked up?
He has dispatched millions of taxis in St. John's, Newfoundland, his retirement, and his signature greeting right after the break. If you've been in St. John's, Newfoundland, and you've called a cab, there's a very good chance you've had a chat with Rodney Dunn. That is because Rodney has been answering the phone at Jiffy Cabs for nearly 40 years, and he's been doing it with his own sort of signature salutation. But this weekend, he finished his final shift dispatching the taxis. His retirement is tonight's moment.
Jiffy Cabs. Yes, sir. Where you to? What time would you like to be picked up?
I put that number at about 11.7 million calls that he's taken where he's said, Jiffy Cabs, Jiffy Cabs, Jiffy Cabs.
You're going to the airport? Yes, no problem, sir. The main issue with me is looking after the customers. As the customers gets looked after all the time, that's the main thing.
I think it's ingrained here in the province now that it's just part of Newfoundland and Labrador folklore.
Thanks for all the years and years of dispatching cabs to us.
People calls up and says, well, I'm only going around the corner. Sorry for calling you. I says, I'm glad you called us because you're keeping me in the job. Oh. Excuse me. Ooh, I don't know where that came from.
Congratulations on your retirement.
I love that guy. So Rodney, if you do the math, apparently he thinks he took maybe 900 calls every single day. People are moving around a lot in St. John's. Also, he comes by this honestly. His father drove, as did his grandfather driving a cab.
And this is only kind of a quasi-retirement. He's hanging up, I guess, the microphone or the phone or something, but he's still going to drive 2 days a week. He says, listen, he's not going to, you can't call him specially as a driver. It's going to be a bit of a lottery if you want to have the most famous former dispatcher. But you know, Adrian, I was also thinking, this is such a great community story. And across the country, there are store clerks and crossing guards and coffee makers that just, you know, are celebrities in their community. So maybe people should tweet us about them and they can have their own moment.
You bet.
That is The National for August 26th. Good night.
Good night.